I'm going to explain how you can't just look at that in a vacuum, and I have no reason to defend Shawn Baker, but I want to just go beyond these labs. Boom! Boom! What's up, everyone? Marc Lobliner, TigerFitness.com, CEO, MTS Nutrition. So Dr. Shawn Baker, who is famous now for the carnivore diet. The carnivore diet is a diet essentially comprised of all animal products, mostly meat, a lot of fatty beef is what he recommends, ribeye and the such, some bacon, some butter, some dairy, some things like that. No vegetables, no grains, all animal products based on the premise that humans are actually carnivores. 100% carnivore with no omnivorous traits, and that food heals. Meat heals is what he says. So his thing is that if you eat all meat, you will cure all these issues associated with grains, inflammation, cholesterol, blah, 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 blah. He goes on the Joe Rogan show, basically says how he's been doing this for a year. I believe it's been 15 months now. He still doesn't have blood work, but he's performing at an extremely high level. He is a world champion rower, the indoor rowing machines. He's like a world record holder, like Shawn Baker, 50 plus years old, a world record holder in the rowing events. I mean, the guy is... he's an elite athlete. Anybody who's a professional and a world record holder in anything, I don't care if it's chess, you're an athlete. You know what I mean? You're an elite athlete. He's the best at what he does, one of the best. So, a lot of people are clamoring for this man's blood work. Now, to be honest with you, just in full disclosure, I did try the carnivore diet for about 3 weeks. I had to cease it because there was no fiber and I was having issues, and I actually was working with Dr. Baker. He is an orthopedic surgeon, just to be straight about that. I know a lot of people might throw that out there. It's not a knock to him. There's a lot of nutritional experts who don't have a nutritional degree or a background in nutrition who are self-taught, and there's no reason to just, hate on him for that. But he is smart enough to achieve a doctorate and to practice medicine, although I believe he cannot practice anymore for whatever reason. I did work with Dr. Baker, and I talked to him, and he helped me with my diet and set it up. When I had issues with extremely loose stool, he tried to help me. At the end of the day, it wasn't the diet for me, and let's just be real, like cutting to the chase. I really like having toast with my eggs in the morning. It is what it is, and I'll get into more of my opinion on diets later. Now, vegans fucking hate him because vegans think that meat is murder, and vegans think that humans are better off with a non-meat diet. So essentially, you're looking at two polar opposites as far as diet strategy and diet belief is based. Whereas Shawn believes that meat heals and meat is life, vegans believe that meat kills, and not only that, you kill animals to get the meat, which is inhumane and bad for the environment due to the carbon footprint and all that stuff. So you have two groups going head to head. So after months of teasing about it, saying he doesn't need to get it because he feels great, Shawn Baker gets his blood work results from a year on the carnivore diet, and the results are pretty fucking bad. Now, you gotta look beyond the numbers here. I have no skin in the game. In fact, I've gone on record as saying that I believe the carnivores are the new vegans because they've gone so far out there, anti-vegetable, anti-grain, and the vegans are so far over here that the carnivores they've become as militant as the hardcore vegans. And that's one thing that I'm noticing. When you have people start to identify with camps, be it politics, Republican, Democrat, be it clubs at school, be it gangs, Crips and Bloods, you tend to want to be all in with that group. So the carnivores naturally, as a response to vegans being so militant about their beliefs, which I actually can empathize with because they believe that killing animals is murder, regardless of what our digestive system is meant for. And they believe that, we're more developing to become. So I empathize with vegans and not so much with carnivores, but I understand where they're getting at, that meat isn't bad. I eat meat, and I'll get into more of that later. Let's get into Shawn Baker's blood work. Now, it came back pretty bad. But I'm going to explain how you can't just look at that in a vacuum. And I have no reason to defend Shawn Baker, but I want to just go beyond these labs. And I want to explain what they mean before you watch. There's a few vegans I watched. My daughter had a soccer tournament out of state, so I had a lot of free time between games to, when I didn't feel like working, just look up some stuff on this. And really evaluate. There were a lot of videos done by angry vegans about Baker. They've gone full vegan on him, man. Death threats and all that. Wishing he dies, calling him lizard man, whatever that means. It's really just fucked up. No one can have a fucking debate anymore. Everybody gets so caught up in their views and their beliefs. We can't just be humans anymore and debate. Anyway, so the glucose and insulin labs, okay? His HbA1c came back at 6.3. I'll explain that in a second. Fasting glucose at 126 milligrams per deciliter, or DL, which means that he's basically, if he tests twice for that, that means he's a diabetic, basically, but I'll explain why that's not necessarily the case. And his fasting insulin is at 2.6 milliliters per UL. So here's the deal. This is a common lab test result found in low-carb athletes. What the body does, it preserves the insulin and glucose levels for high-intensity training. Now, you see a lot of vegans who are endurance athletes, a lot of marathoners. Hell, one of my best friends, Gary Reinl, the guy with the Marc Pro, a guy who anti-Iceman, he's a brilliant man. He is a vegan, and he is a distance runner. He can run 20 miles without even blinking. Now, the way his body utilizes blood glucose, utilizes insulin, completely different. Shawn Baker partakes in rowing, which is a very, very, excuse me, I got a little allergies, very, very, very high intensity, short duration burst, rest, burst, rest. So what his body is conditioned to do, and you see this in low carb performance athletes, we've seen that in some of the data I've reviewed, is his body is adapted to having that glucose and insulin available because his body is trained to tap into that resource quick. Whereas Gary Reinl and other endurance athletes, they don't need that glucose because, again, cardiorespiratory long duration cardio will result in a different usage of energy systems. One's relying on glucose, one's relying on different aerobic versus anaerobic energy stores. So you can't really take blood test results from elite athletes and compare them to what our normal ranges are based on, which is normal people like him or hate him, love carnivores or hate carnivores. Baker is a fucking elite athlete. So while I don't like his blood work, while I would be freaking the fuck out if my fasting glucose came back at that level, I'm not Baker. You know, I am right now training in boxing, which is longer duration, high intensity training. Boxing, the way I'm training, not saying I'm a good boxer, please don't diss my sparring skills, I suck. But I've been training that way. It's 3-minute to 6-minute rounds and 30-second rest. Whereas I would have a different blood glucose reading on the same diet as a Baker, even if we did the exact same diet, based on how he trains and his physical output as an athlete. So there's that. And since he is depriving himself of glucose other than what is converted from protein via gluconeogenesis, his body has adapted, so his performance, the body is a fucking wonderful adaptive fucking being. And you can't just look at it as black and white. You gotta look at the big picture. So vegans, before you get all zealous and say he's gonna die, let's just look beyond that. And I will insult carnivores later. So you vegans who like me, all 2 of you, just wait. I'm gonna break it all down and say why you're all crazy. Cholesterol labs. They're pretty fucked up too. Total cholesterol 192, that's high. LDL-C is 141. HDL-C is 40. Triglycerides 54. The LDL, C and P are both on the lower end for a low carb person like Dr. Baker, who's as fit. Probably due to the fact that he is very, if you look at his Instagram, you look at his Twitter, you look at his YouTube, the dude lifts heavy ass weights. He was at Marc Bell's gym deadlifting 600 plus pounds. The guy's a fucking beast. What happens is when you emphasize resistance training, your LDL scores will be reduced due to a higher rate of muscle repair. It's just the way the body works. Same reason your liver enzymes will be elevated. As your body breaks shit down, your body processes it. So if you look at blood urea nitrogen, BUN, that's going to be higher in high protein dieters because it is a byproduct of protein metabolism. Whereas creatinine, which is a byproduct of creatine, you guessed it, will be higher in those of people who supplement with creatine. It doesn't necessarily mean you're dying. It just means that you're in a different level. So we can't just take the blood work for what it is. So his small LDLP is low at 283. HDLC is low. It's at 40 milligrams. However, he has low HDL running in his family, which is what he discussed on one of the podcasts he was on. Again, soccer tournaments out of state lead me to a lot of time to put my headphones in and listen to shit, since I don't talk to other dads anyway, because I have nothing in common with them. So here's the deal. That could be an issue long term, but cholesterol is a genetic issue sometimes. I do not believe this diet is helping him. I would like to see him add some fish oil in his diet, and that potentially might help. Or, I don't know, maybe some veggies might help. Never mind. HDLP was low at 28. Again, but that is normal in low-carb dieters. I believe Volek pointed that out, Dr. Jeffrey Volek, in some of his research. I didn't put the citation in my notes, and I apologize for that. I believe it was Volek. Triglycerides, 54, and that's extremely, in my opinion, normal, or at least correlative to basically having an insulin-sensitive metabolism. Of concern is his testosterone. They're in the 200s. That's fucking low. Dr. Shawn Baker went on to describe how, being that his body is so super sensitive, he doesn't need to produce as much. I'm not, I don't think the beauty of science is you could say that things lead to you for you to believe, but there's never a definitive answer. That's the beauty of science, is that there's always more research to be done. Right now, based on my knowledge of that, what he's saying is complete and utter bullshit, that his body doesn't need as much testosterone, so doesn't produce as much. Not buying that, Dr. Baker. What this does prove, he's not on steroids. I mean, shit. Testosterone in the 200s, he got some bunk shit if he's on steroids. What it does prove to me is that he's fucking 50 years old, guys. Having low testosterone at 50 plus years old, with all the resistance training and stress he puts his body through, is fucking normal. I mean, just because he's on a carnivore diet does not mean he's not fucking human. And at 54 or 52 years old, whatever he is, he's over 50. Look, most males at 25, their shit starts declining gradually. But like, you get a male in the 40s, I guarantee you, most males you meet, any dad bod off the street eating a standard American diet in their 40s is going to be in the 200 to 300 range. It just is what it is. He's fucking 50 years old. Vegans don't get on him. Well, a vegan diet really says that vegans have typically higher testosterone. Yet, in 50-year-olds though, you can't take a study done on fucking 20-year-old dudes and apply it to a 50-year-old fucking hardcore athlete. Come the fuck on, guys. Come on. See, the problem is, let me recap. I tried being a vegan. I believe I lasted 2.5 weeks. And then I was like, I felt weird. I didn't feel bad. I just didn't feel like myself. Just being real. Like, I was a bit foggy. I was doing everything they say to do on vegan diets. And I know vegans are like, no, you didn't. I'm like, yeah, I did. And I'm sorry. I'm a dude who believes that you can survive and fucking prosper, be an amazing bodybuilder, an amazing fucking baseball player. I was watching a boxing movie. I believe it was Counterpunch on Netflix. One of the top amateur boxers. He has a good following on Instagram. I forgot his name. Cam Awesome. He's a vegan. Fucking great. I mean, guy's a fucking elite athlete. Gary Reinl could be an elite athlete on veganism. I don't believe it's the optimal human diet. I just don't. However, if you factor in the ethical reasons for it, I fucking appreciate and respect vegans. I don't think they need to get all militant on everybody. But again, like, if I felt like you killing this animal was fucking murder, then yeah, I'd be fucking mad too. So if they look at animals like humans, as we all, like, dude, my dog, that's my fourth kid. You know, I understand. But I don't think it's an optimal diet. I believe carnivore is a fad. It's a trend. Keto's on an upswing. You had Marc Bell with his book, The War on Carbs, which I don't believe there should be a war on carbs unless it's friendly fire and I get to eat toast in the morning. I love my Ezekiel toast with eggs on it. It's my shit. The War on Carbs, Marc Bell doing his shit, Stan Efferding, you know, you have a upswell. But you got to realize ketogenic diets, the Atkins diet, came out in the 70s, had another surge of popularity in the 90s. At that time, a lot of people went on that bandwagon, including Nutrition, which is an online retailer. They almost went out of business because they jumped on that bandwagon, it fell off. And then you saw another, another surge come up in around 2010, and now you're seeing another surge come up. Keto will come and go, and the reason is it's a very, very, very unreliable, unsustainable diet. Food is a part of our society. You know, and obviously you're going to lose immediate water weight because carbs carry water with it. So people are alert to that. But after about 2-3 months on it, people are like, well, fuck, I want some toast. And they eat toast. Low carb diets will always have that lure. It's the same. It's not a bad diet. At the end of the day, though, it's not better than any other diet out there. It all comes down to caloric deficit, caloric control. I do not believe a ketogenic diet is optimal. It depends who you are. For weight training athletes, a ketogenic diet can be wonderful because we don't really tap into glucose much during weight training. Even the most hardcore of sessions, you're burning 50 calories. However, performance athletes, boxers, football players, basketball players, soccer players, I'm never going to put them on a ketogenic diet as a coach. It's just not going to fucking happen. Exos, the training philosophy I adhere to and I'm trained in, they don't do that either. You know, they're into whole natural foods. They get the grass-fed shit, but they like carbs, especially for performance athletes. They have their post-workout nutrition. They have their during-the-day nutrition with carbohydrate in there for their performance athletes. However, for a sedentary American, let's think about it. You have 3 food groups to choose from: fat, protein, and carbs. A lot of the yummy foods are carbs. You take that food group away, you have way less things to fucking worry about fucking up on. It's really hard to overeat bacon and steak. You get tired of it. So here's the deal. Carnivores, calm the fuck down. Dr. Baker, you're not going to die. He's not going to die. Okay, so vegans, calm down. He's going to be just fine. In fact, he's healthier than probably 99.9999999% of the 50-year-old males out there. And his blood work based on his output, in my honest opinion, is fine. Carnivores, calm the fuck down. And also, seriously, a lot of these things, you're not gonna convince me that veggies are not a good thing to have in your diet. Get rid of grains. I don't give a fuck. You don't need grains. I agree. Get rid of those. Get rid of some things. But to take fruits and veggies out of the diet, which are so dense in micronutrients, fiber, I believe, is something the human body should have. It doesn't need. There's 2 essential nutrients: essential amino acids and essential fatty acids. There's no such thing as an essential carbohydrate. However, as someone who tried both the carnivore and the vegan diets, shit, man, it's really good to be able to poop after eating fiber. It just is. So, to surmise, Dr. Baker, his blood work, in my opinion, for what he does as an athlete is fine. However, guys, stop trying to belong to the camps, okay? Diet is all about sustainability, and it's all about caloric control. Find a diet you can adhere to long term. People come to me, I get Steve Shaw, our editorial director at Tiger Fitness, and I talk about this all the time. We've had more fucking questions on keto in the last month than we've had ever. I mean, he produces over 1,000 articles a year on Tiger Fitness. Okay, he's edited probably 30 plus articles on keto. I've written 10 of them. Okay, here's the deal. At the end of the day, if you can, ask yourself this: your diet should be a sustainable lifestyle. Can I sustain keto for 2 weeks? Yeah. Can I sustain keto for 2 months? Maybe. Can I sustain keto for 2 years? That's tough. Can I sustain keto for 20 years? If you can't answer yes to sustaining keto or carnivore for 20 years, it's not the diet for you. Stop looking at it as a diet. Start looking at it as a lifestyle you can adhere to long term. Sorry for the long video. A lot of things to cover here. There's more to talk about. Please comment down below. And of course, Join our Facebook group. We discuss shit like this all the time. Link is down below. The Facebook group on for Tiger Fitness group on Facebook. Anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts. Comment down below, like this video, subscribe, click on that bell so you're notified every time I upload epic shit. I'm Marc Lobliner, TigerFitness.com, coming at you from a third-party, non-biased perspective. And that's not a game.